Oh. Good evening. Welcome to episode 198 of the Brewgooders. The Brewgooders podcast is the rebrand, and then we're beer comics and a sort of geekery and all that sort of stuff. Whatever you really want to talk about. We've got a full house tonight, as you can see, which is really exciting. I think this is the first time ever we've had. I think last week for about 2 hours there was a point in the day when we had all six of us, so we got a cool squad full. And I think this is the first time we've had all six of us on the podcast. So I'll just go around and let everyone know who everyone is. All these beautiful, beautiful human beings are. I'm Jeff. To my right, in the middle, is Mr. Andrew McGee. On the far right, but not as far as we're aware, a member of the far right, top far right, is Stu of Lagerlogs. Below me, in the bottom left-hand corner, you've got John. Loving this. It's the Brady Bunch is what this might be.
It's the Brady Bunch, yeah.
In the bottom middle, we've got Maxwell, one of the original Brewgooders, and on the far right, but not as far as a member of the far right, is Mr. Glass City David Cranham. So, yeah, that was hard. How are you guys all doing? Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I feel like we're all contestants on a quiz show. We're all just waving, introducing ourselves.
Well, I could do that. So I can ask a question and then it goes, so like, Sahan, really complicated about thermonuclear dynamics. It was bzzzt, John Bruce.
And we all have that look.
I was watching University Challenge earlier this week and got two questions. Two questions right. So.
Billy, she's beer.
First premature beer of the episode.
Making ice cream.
Yeah. What's happening? Oh my god, that's pretty brutal. I'm running out of glass.
I see we have maintained the professionalism.
I know. Yeah, almost 200 episodes in and still can't pour a beer.
It's really amateur hour, considering beer was his main thing. Like the inability to pour a pint.
All the time.
Oh, yeah, boy. Yep.
198 episodes, and you think I would get this right. Okay, so the reason we're all here, get rid of that because it looks stupid. The reason we're all here is because it's our last episode of the year. We're going to be taking a wee break in December and then come back in the new year with a new format and a kind of new structure and more content, hopefully, as a result of that. So we're quite excited. We're as a team going to be meeting in December to talk about that. So as things come out, yes. I say meet. We'll probably just do this. Not live.
We'll try and get together physically. Apart from Dave,
as much as we can. Yeah.
Knew that was going to happen.
We've got ideas. We just need to work out which ones we're going to run away with because we're all idea men. So yeah, but we thought we would. So normally we kind of start off the podcast by talking about whatever beers we're drinking. If we've got one, will we do that quickly, and then we can talk about what our weeks have been like, and then we can bash on to the bit that I think we're all excited about to find out what we all said was our favourite things of the year. So we can all start sharing each other. So while my beer settles, Andrew, what are you drinking?
Right, I'm drinking a West Coast DDH IPA with, it looks like some yaks or something.
Where did that come from?
Where did it come from? Probably a box of beer. It's from the Garden Brewery.
Oh yeah,
made in Downfell, Norway. So it will be a yak. Do you remember that advert that they used to do for Drambuie? It was the guy from All Creatures Great and Small, and used to do an advert for Drambuie, and he was saying that it was the most popular liqueur in the world, apart from in Tibet, where the most popular liqueur was fermented yak's milk. And there was a guy basically doing something to a bull. And he just turned to the
very suggestive arm movements off camera.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I think they're yaks. Are they yaks?
Yeah, buffalo.
Or something like that. One of those things. A big cue.
When I come on this show, it's an IPA because that's kind of my beer of choice, as people who know me will be aware. It's not quite got the, you know how I quite like it to have the consistency of piss. It's a wee bit clear. Usually it's a bit more cloudy.
The urine-like qualities that you...
It's more urine-like quality, but I think possibly, and I'm sure Colin will be able to tell me if this is a fact, because normally they look like piss because they're about 3.5%, 4%. This is like a 6%. So it's possible that the higher the alcohol content goes, the clearer they get. I don't know if that's a thing, though. I'll pass it on. I'm not the resident beer expert.
But it seems
you
good.
get like 7% hazy IPAs and stuff, don't you? So
very nice.
As long as it tastes nice. That's the main thing.
Did you say it's a West Coast IPA, yeah?
West Coast IPA.
They tend to be a bit darker anyway.
Assertive, dank, resinous, and chewy. A classic West Coast IPA with modern hop products, Spectrum and Incognito, which I'm assuming those will be the
hops.
Very
fine.
Next.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Holden's Black Country Special Ale.
Okay. Black
That
Country
looks like-
Born Man Brewed.
Is that Amanda Holden?
Well, kinda, unless that's her dad's in the top there.
I like Amanda Holden.
Well, you know what she's got to say about you, Dave.
And we became a room of dirty old men. Amanda Holden.
I did follow her on TikTok during lockdown, and her TikTok game was strong. Like, you know, when we all had TikTok for like that week during lockdown before we realised it was.
TikTok, mate. I'm not even sure exactly what TikTok is.
How's it taste, Stuart?
It tastes quite nice. It's got kind of like a really hoppiness that I wasn't expecting. My mate Tom sent this up. It's a brewery down England that he visited, and he made sure this was his particular favourite. So he passed a bottle up to me. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
What are you drinking, David?
So I done my usual, which was going to the fridge and work and steal what I could. So I've just realised that. So hold on, I'll tell you in a second. So I've chosen Crossing the Rubicon, which is a West Coast IPA by Drygate, which is Glasgow. Funnily enough, I've never actually had it before. I've just realised that it's 6.9%, which is going to be pretty strong. It says when West Coast Scotland meets West Coast USA, this boundary crossing IPA is our take on the style upon which a generation of craft beers built their empire. There you go. It is pretty pale, I guess. And also, I'm sure you all recognise the glass.
Maybe half pint Nicoil glass.
Remember this glass? Remember this glass?
We did get that in the Irish pub in.
No, well, we don't talk about where we got it from.
PG, my boys, if you're watching.
This smells nice and fruity. It's actually really good. I didn't even
really. So Drygate is owned by Tenants, isn't it? Like it's their craft beer.
It's really nice. I would like I said, it's the first time I've tried it, but I would definitely recommend it. I've got a 3 or 4 here, so
I think it's an all right for a mass-produced IPA. It's all right.
That's good.
One of the pubs I don't know when I drinking that's not commercial, the Monarch, they have a Drygate tap, and they change it like obviously quite often. Maybe every week or so they'll change whatever the Drygate send along, and they did send that in 1 week, and I didn't know the alcohol percentage until I was on like my 3rd pint. I was like, I'm hammered, and then realised that I was it was a 7% or off the tap. It's pretty brutal actually.
That's pretty brutal. Well, like I said, I didn't realise it was 6.9%. Someone ordered it in for a wedding, never drank it, as they always fucking do, excuse my language. So I just snaffled some, and then I've just realised, just like when Andrew was talking about his percentage, I had a quick look and I realised it was 6.9. So I'm sorry now, everyone.
For 9 o'clock, David.
Well, I'm off tomorrow.
Nice one.
Hence why I'm here.
Colin.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I have beer.
Cool.
It is. Well, I have to say, I've fallen in love with the recent batch of Loch Lomond Brewery beers that you get out of Aldi. I've not had a bad one in the past week, and I've had a few. This one is called Zoom Time. As you can see, there's somebody on a Zoom call like us at the moment. And it's a session, New England IPA, 4.5%. The usual, Galaxy, Amarillo, Mosaic hops. So you've got that kind of flavour, that nice sort of peachy aroma, bit of sort of citrusy pineapple flavour. Pretty juicy. I like it. About £1.89, I think it is for a tin. And I like all the stuff that they've currently got in Aldi. The Loch Lomond stuff is good.
Loch Lomond's good. They sometimes have Loch Lomond on at the commercial. It's a good one.
It's a cool glass.
It's not a special one. It's like yours.
Me and Stu earlier this year went halfers in a big box of Fierce beer. I'm on my last one. And for anyone that cares, Liverpool won them up. I think Andrew's away. Andrew's aware. So I'm drinking. From Fierce. I did a collaboration with NZ.
It's like one of the New Zealand brewing collective or something.
New Zealand Beer Collective is what they're called. So it's a New Zealand pale using Motica hops and Nectaron. Sounds like a transformer. Nectaron hop oil. Very pineapple-y, very pleasant. It's really nice. It's settled now though. It looks like piss.
Look at that. Looks like piss.
If you're pissed like that, I'd get a team to.
5.5%. It's really, really good. That was a really good deal.
It would be the weakest of all the beers that are on here then. But, John?
Well, it's a 10-ounce glass, but it's diluting juice.
You could honestly have told us that was some kind of beer and we would have totally believed that.
It's hazy, boys. Trust me.
It's the colour of piss. There you go.
It's my specific gravity and stuff like this. Oh my God, it is. Cheers, Ben.
Feel a Liverpool game just off camera.
Okay. I don't have the Liverpool game just off camera because I don't have a sports subscription. So what I have is just
a dodgy Fire
Stick BBC website that's updating the score live as we go. Ben, I believe, is watching it because he's messaging me.
How's everyone's week been? Has anyone got any exciting stories from the week? It's been obviously Scottish Comic Book Day on Saturday and Doctor Who and all the craziness.
Doctor Who was great, but I think we shouldn't talk about like that. We can come to that. Doctor Who was great. I'm surprised. I could literally hear GB News cups hitting TV screens all across the nation when that episode was on.
Yeah.
I could hear people saying, but no, it was very good.
Was it really rather woke? I'm not a Doctor Who guy.
Sorry?
I don't watch Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I know, no.
Is that because you're not a child and you should be like, that's why you're getting upset about it? Because I read somebody said something very inflammatory online about how you should get over it if Doctor Who's for kids and that's why you didn't like it anymore. Who could that have been?
It was.
I haven't seen that actually.
It was a very good episode.
It was a very good attempt at trolling Mr. Maxwell.
I think based on, part of me did get really excited, and I could feel like I felt somewhat like, obviously, with it being Scottish Comic Book Day as well, and the day that we'd all had, like when it came up that it was I knew the episode was Star Beast, but I hadn't made the connection that it was based on the Pat Mills story from the 80s. So that was quite exciting.
Dave Gibbons. I think what I've read about it, because I've read up a lot about it. Obviously, it's big chat, and what I think is nice to take away from it is that Pat Mills and Dave Gibbons. Was Dave Gibbons, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Dave Gibbons.
They were credited right at the start of the credits. which I thought was pretty cool because how often that never happens really. You know, the comic book creator, you know, of the source material very seldom gets mentioned.
Doctor Who's good at like crediting its writers, so like it will tell you at the start like the name of the episode by, and then it'll be by whoever wrote it. But
but they didn't give source material though. Apart from with Terry Nation, who always gets himself a name whenever it goes on, it's very rare for them to put this was based on, you know, a comic. Yeah, I think that was nice to see.
Also, apparently, because it's Panini, I think it's Panini that own the rights to that particular storyline. And so Pat Mills and Dave Gibbons didn't need to get paid at all. Apparently, the BBC paid them. So, you know, respect to the BBC for doing that. I think that's pretty cool.
No, it's just a license fee after all. So,
well, just get their money back.
Yeah,
like a refund.
They've saved money. They're not paying the guy who wrote the original episodes or his family who did it. That's why they can't put them up on TV. That's why they had to start with episode 7 or something like that for their universe. Because there's things like that. It'll get sorted out. It's all money. It'll get sorted out eventually.
Yeah. When I left you guys and went away to Paisley on Saturday, I arrived at the new library, which hadn't opened yet. I think it's maybe this week that it's opening officially. But in there, they had a lovely Doctor Who exhibition. They had a TARDIS, they had 2 Daleks, and they also, there's a member of staff in the libraries in that area that is a big Doctor Who fan, and he paints pictures. And around the library were about 50 paintings, doctors and, you know, various creatures and monsters from Doctor Who. It was amazing. So if anybody has a chance to go along to Paisley Library in the next, you know, few days or a couple of weeks or something, go and check it out. There's some lovely artwork there.
Cool.
Road trip.
Yeah, road trip.
So Saturday was Scottish Comic Day last week. We were all there. What was everyone's thoughts on just the day in general, and like what was everyone up to?
I would like to give you a round of applause. I think we should all give Jeff a round of applause for well done, Jeff, for putting on a fantastic event. Honestly, mate, it was great. Well done, man.
Yep.
Really good. Looking forward to next year.
Yeah, it was quite easy. Like, you guys were all really easy to work with. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I normally stress out about these sort of things, but actually, nobody was an asshole. that was my takeaway. We got a really good set of guests and a good venue, and everybody was really helpful. And there was nobody being awkward. The people that were there were, for Scotland, were independent scene, were pretty fucking class. You know, I was honoured to be among them, man. It was pretty good. It was a good lineup.
Yeah, good bunch there. And it was good to hear that at least one person commented saying, and remember I left early, was saying that they'd made more money that day than they had at Thought Bubble.
Yeah. That same person went on to message me on Sunday to say that they'd made more money at Decaf than they'd ever made at Comic-Con before. So I
put up a post on my Substack talking about 3 cons that had been in the past month, and Decaf, when I factored in all the costs of going everywhere, was by far my most profitable. So good on you, man.
We did Thought Bubble this year, so we did Thought Bubble this month. So I'll take that. Like, you know, obviously I know with Thought Bubble you've got to factor in your travel, and nobody really goes into Thought Bubble to make money, but that was good. I really enjoyed it. As a punter and as an organizer, it was quite easy to organize. It was quite easy, you know. I think nobody was annoyed about where they were placed. So I was in the corner next to Tom Creeley and Matt Cooper, and there's 2 guys that I know Tom because he's an our Dunfermline resident, and obviously we've interviewed Matt on the show and stuff. But like I was between they 2, and they were great fun. Just good banter all day.
Good laugh, Matt and Tom.
That was good. If we can get the venue again next year, I'll do it again next year. I trust. So they need to have their annual board of directors meeting or their annual trustees meeting at the start of next year to decide if they're gonna. Because we were in Abbott House because I thought Abbott House was a totally quality venue, but like other parts of the room, all of the rooms are used for rent. So there's like a violin maker and a furniture maker, and then there's an escape room in there somewhere as well, and then obviously the coffee shop and stuff. So all these people have to
It's a cool venue.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, if you have any difficulty at all in getting that venue again, right? When I arrived home from work today, there was a letter in my door from, if you can see it, right?
Ooh.
And I thought, oh heck, what's this? You know, is that me on the New Year's honours list again?
Oh, this is about the TV license,
Right,
isn't it? The
so
final
So here we go. House of Commons, dear Brewgooders,
What? No way.
I'm writing to wish you all the best for Dunfermline Comic Art Fair, which you have organised at Abbott House on Saturday, 25th November. You must be very proud and excited to welcome prestigious names in the world of comic books to our city of Dunfermline, as well as showcasing small press and independent new talent. This is so important to enable their creativity to be displayed and hopefully see their own careers flourish. I understand that this event is part of Scottish Comic Book Day. I hope that it is successful as part of this nationwide celebration of the comic industry and that your Brewgooders podcast continues to go on to great things. From Douglas Chapman, MP for Dunfermline and Westfield.
Oh, sorry. That's very cool.
Well
Nice.
done.
Aye.
I was
Wow.
waiting for you for two things. I was waiting for you to say like for all these prestigious people and David Cranna is what I thought.
I covered that up. I did say, who's that David Cranna bloke?
And I actually quite a sound guy. I know Douglas Chapman. I've known him for years through like working in the council and stuff. So he's a good guy.
That's
I
amazing.
was waiting for you to be like just rattle off the name of somebody that I don't like in Parliament. But it was great.
You say Rishi Sunak or something like that.
Big Rich.
Yeah. Or Alistair Jack or something like that. Oh.
That's amazing, by the way. Honestly, God,
That is
that
very
is
cool.
absolutely
That is
unbelievable.
Yeah, in a wee
Brilliant.
frame.
Yeah,
I was really gobsmacked when I opened it up. I thought, what the heck's this about?
Well, again,
On
I think
social media.
that's
Yeah,
another
you
round
go.
of applause for Jeff, I think.
He's got
That's,
a photograph in dinner, right?
that's a
really
second
smart.
round of applause for Jeff.
Well done, well done, well done. Jeff.
Really
Well
recognise
done. Actually.
Surely the New Year's honours list is only a year or two away.
You're beginning pumped up.
Would you guys do the New Year's honours list if you ever got invited? Would you accept?
Would I?
That's a different conversation for a different podcast, isn't it?
Don't get me started.
No, it was really good. Colin, it was Paisley. I was quite excited to see. How was your talks?
Oh, really good, yeah. So I did the kids' workshop in the afternoon. We had about, 10 kids, all really enthusiastic, all comic readers. Many of them had drawn their own comics before. Some of them had brought their own comics that they'd drawn along to show me. In fact, this one wee lad told me that he needed to give me advice on selling comics because he had sold £120 worth of comics in one day.
That's good.
That was amazing. And he raised money for the Cat Protection League, I think it
Jeff,
was.
that's better than you've ever done, is it? No, we voiced him.
Who's this kid?
That's amazing.
So,
Somebody have to
yeah,
say.
Respect him.
his phone number if you want to get some tips.
Yeah,
guys.
please, man. I would appreciate it.
I'll take it too, please.
What age was he, Colin?
He was
Not taking his phone number.
10, I think.
Why not, John?
Don't give us his phone number.
Yeah, on air. It's no.
It's a sting operation,
10
lads.
years old, and this is his number.
Okay, his mum was there.
All right.
And incidentally, his mum was from Dunfermline, believe it or not. But now lives in over in the west.
The good side of the country.
Yeah, so
West.
anyway, kids in the afternoon doing their workshop and trying to get them to do stuff for the Dunfermline storybook, and then just a talk about war comics in the evening for adults. And again, I don't know how many we had, 10, a dozen people, something like that.
Cool.
Oh yeah, it was really good. Enjoyed it.
That's good, man. It's good to have a good day. Exciting. Sorry, I jumped out of you. John, how did you find DCAF as somebody that when you first asked to be part of it, you were like, or I offered you a table, you were like, I'm comics adjacent rather than, obviously you did have your comic, but like it was great to have you there. I was interested to see how you did.
Well, my stuff is obviously very different to obviously the comics. Mine's all kind of hand drawn. I did sell some stuff, which was pretty cool. I saw a couple of issues of the comic as well. So yeah, it was good. It was interesting. Definitely coming in next year. Looking at everyone's stuff, I was very impressed. I'm always inspired whenever I talk to any of the guests on the podcast or I see some of the small press guys. I look at their stuff and I think, wow, okay, cool, right. Okay, next year's the year. So yeah, Saturday got me pumped up. Yeah, it was good.
That was it. That's probably the main takeaway I get from cons as well. But just chatting to other creative folk and walking away. There was two ladies that were there on a decaf food cup who I'd met in Errol when we were doing the toy fair in Errol, and they'd come down specifically for that reason.
Mhm.
You know, one of the ladies is looking to get into comics as an artist and was just wanting to show her stuff, which was really smart. So
Cool.
You've developed a habit of getting ladies to follow you around at cons. I'm impressed.
You're developing a reputation, Jeff. Let's just say he's the ladies' man.
Absolutely not. I am absolutely not. The way daft. Right, moving on. Right, anything else from Decaf? No. Or Scottish Comic Day at all? It was really cool.
I'll just say, go back about the venue. I went out to the loo, and I think it was pointing out to me, it was the best backdrop of any convention I've ever been. I had to be one. I didn't even realise that there was a smaller, ruined Abbey in the grounds of the bigger one. So just goes to show you, Colin, that I've never read any of your stuff when you've wrote it. But no, yeah, it was beautiful venue.
It was a delightful place. Yeah, very nice. Very offbeat but cool.
Yeah.
You know what? It was 2 minutes from the bus station, which I thought was really handy. Literally just round the corner. So it was really, really handy. I thought from Glasgow, bus from Buchanan Street, an hour across, easy peasy. What I liked about it though, Jeff, what you done was you had foot soldiers. You had a couple of guys, it was your son, obviously, and his pals, they were handing out flyers. And I think in the world of social media, where saturated social media, where everything's just lost in the ether all the time, you're going to get a few hits from a few people. I think having people out on the streets and handing out flyers on the day of the event, and even the lead up to it, I think is the way forward. I think it's almost, to go forward, we almost have to go back a little bit. And I thought that was a really good touch. I think more folks should do that.
I think just with the location, I don't know if you could get away with that in somewhere like. I think you could probably get away with it in something like Thought Bubble or that, but like I don't think you could do that in like Acme or something like that. Somewhere that's kind of out and about. You're not going to get much.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm not trying to be funny about that. But you couldn't walk along like Buchanan Street.
And get folk to Acme.
Not for a paid event like that. You're not going to get people walking off the street paying 25 quid to get into an event. But coming into a free event or something that maybe costs £1 or something, you maybe get a big footfall. Yeah.
Well, it was Sean and his pal. Props to Rowan, Sean, and Anna who were helping out. They said that quite a lot of people were just walking past in the Maygate and they were like, "Oh, there's a comic art fair happening." Mm-hmm. And then they were playing popped up, and then obviously the Little Shop of Heroes were doing that as well, and then we were our volunteers were doing that for the Little Shop of Heroes as well. So our wee helpers, as folk were coming out, going, "Oh, make sure you get along to the comic shop as well." So,
cool. Yep, a good day with that by all.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, cool. Hopefully more will come. Right, anything else from like stuff that we've done or anybody read anything or seen anything this week before we just move on to our? I think this bit's going to take ages, so we've got our list of
Yeah, let's go for it.
The only thing I've got is one quick thing that I signed an NDA a while ago regarding a trading card set that I was doing. I can now announce what that trading card set is. It's called the Kurt Collection, and it's going to be exclusively based on the works of Mr. Kurt Russell. And it's going to be Kurt Russell will be involved. Wow. And all proceeds of this Kickstarter trading card set will go to the Goldie Hawn Mind Up charity. Ooh. So that should be quite good. So that's going to be coming in the new year. So I'm pretty jazzed about that one.
Fucking wow. That's amazing, mate. So Mind Up charity, is that a mental health charity or?
I believe it's a children's charity. So I need to look into that a bit more, yeah. Details are forthcoming, but that's all the information I've got just now. So that should be quite good. I should be doing sketch cards and a base card as well. So the base card will actually be part of the series set, as well as doing the hand-drawn cards that I do as well. So
Have
should be good.
you decided on the base card yet? Are you doing White Earp like I said? White Earp.
No. I've already agreed to do
Captain
what
Ron.
I'm doing. So
Snakes.
Captain Ron, no. Yeah, I've already agreed to do what I'm doing, so that should be quite good. Should be fun. No, I'm not doing Snake.
Oh,
No.
Well, I hope it's going to bring you enough money that you can escape from 5.
Well, we'll see. No, no money involved, unfortunately. It's a charity set, so
and there's no escape from 5.
Isaac Hayes sits on the 4th bridge shooting you.
Yeah. No, I've waived my fee for this one, so I've said, look, for charity, don't pay me.
Oh, what a guy.
Oh.
You waived your fee? You're a better
Big
man
trouble with little Kirkcaldy.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's it for me. So, anyone else got anything cool, or we go on to our...
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
No,
Congratulations.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so earlier this week, I said earlier this week, like a couple hours ago, I put up on our wee group chat, like, we did this last year, and it was quite fun. And we didn't do it this format, but we just kind of chatted about like all the stuff that we thought was like we originally kind of played around with it. Let's try and come up with a best of for the year, but actually we just wanted to talk about the things that we thought were the best. So we've stuck kind of loosely to our format. So what was our favorite beer, our favorite comic, our favorite TV show, and our favorite movie? And so everybody sent me their lists. There was very few in the way of, so that there is like, when you factor in like the fact that Sonny overheard, I was chatting to Sonny, who's like my like 8-year-old son, about the conversation, and he threw in a suggestion of his favorite movie. So that swung the vote. If you include it, and was it Ben from the 77? Also, we have a chat on our we have a chat on the Facebook page that was like everyone throw their ideas, and I think Ben sent me a list of stuff as well that was like his favorite stuff. So that kind of swings the vote a wee bit as well. So, but actually, when you break it down to beer, comic, movie, and TV show and convention, there was actually only a couple of things that crossed over. So, we'll just go through it and see what people thought. So this is like, let's see if I can do this. This is the Brewgooders, our favourites of 2023. So,
and the nominees are.
Yeah,
that was me.
This is Andrew's. So, Andrew's beer of the year was the Dizzy Blonde, which...
Oh, that was a cracking beer. I couldn't remember its name. I liked that one too.
Yeah, we had that at the pub called the Hales down in Harrogate. And
I threw the picture of the Hales as well, because...
that is the Hales right there. It's got the body in the back. In the corner.
That was a good beer, actually.
Yeah,
it's got the I've even included the wee stool where that lassie fell over when we came back.
Oh, yeah.
We red stool right there.
Yep, that one right there.
Colin said that his Loch Lomond Scotch Tablet Stout that you had on the show last week.
Cracking. Fairly low alcohol, 4.5%. Nice wee light stout. Yeah.
Hit it chewy.
By the way, if anyone's wondering why I've done it in this order, it's just alphabetical. David put just the 2 beers he's drinking today, having completely missed the point. Crossing the Rubicon, West Coast IPA and Tenants. I put Flash House.
I love the idea, just before we go on, I love the idea that David's favourite beer is the beer that he's got in his hand at that moment. Next week's favourite beer is going to be whatever he's drinking at that point. It's just
you can take the boy to Dystopian Glasgow, but you can't take the Dystopian Glasgow to the boy.
100%.
My beer was a session IPA that I don't like. What I thought was quite interesting with Andrews is he had like he couldn't remember the name of the beer, but he knew where he was when he drank it. And I actually had the same issue with my beer. I had to go and actually Google who beer and why. This is I went to a pinball and arcade convention in July, and this was their event IPA. Really good. It's just a really like tropical session IPA, but I got to drink beer and play pinball, so that was quite a.
I like you included a picture of yourself there to prove that you actually drunk it.
To prove that I was drinking it, yeah. And Stu said Sharp's Brewery's Solar Wave, which is a hazy IPA.
Yeah, this was when we were in London for the wrestling, we were going around Paddington Station, kind of having a look at the statues, and then my boys were bursting for the toilet, and we ran into the closest pub, which I think was called the Prince of Wales, and they had this beer on cask, and it was amazing. It was perfect because you weren't allowed to use the toilets unless you like bought something from the bar, and that was good enough for Dad. So yeah,
I was going to ask you because Sharps are quite a big brewery, aren't they? You get Sharp stuff in like I've drank Sharp stuff in like Seven Kings before and stuff.
Aren't they like the guys behind like Doom Bar and Icebreaker? Yeah.
Could be that
was made by them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was Icebreaker was one I was thinking of. That's good. Nah, they're good brewery with good beer. So yeah, that was and then our friends. So like anybody that got in touch with us. So Ben said Oakum's GHB bitter. The Jeffrey Hudson bitter was his favorite beer of the year.
Well, John, you had a beer a few weeks ago. Did you not just put up the one beer that you've had this year?
No, I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it.
Okay, so yeah, that was our beers of this year. So there was no crossovers. Oh, sorry. Coming ahead. There's no crossovers. And the same with comics. So yeah, I'm just going to put the list up online afterwards. So it's like the short list of good stuff that everyone should check out. But for comics, Colin sent The Bogeyman's The Incomplete Case Files, which was
brilliant.
I mean, it's an old book. Let's face it, the stories are like, I don't know how many years old. 40 years old. No, 35 years old, something like that.
No, 1990.
All right, okay.
So
that is nearly 35 years ago.
Well, you're right.
So it was there's a couple of newer ones in there as well, and one that was only made earlier this year. So this is the almost complete collection of all the Bogeyman, which is just great. Just of the 90s, one of the great.
It's got two stories in Glasgow,
Scotland. Yeah,
and two stories in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So it's hysterical. So it was 1990. It was released for Glasgow being City of Culture, and it was obviously John Wagner and Alan Grant and Robin Smith, I think, was illustrated. Yeah. The illustrations in this are amazing. I mean, some of the. I'm trying to think if I can see.
His line art is fantastic, and it looks even better on this new book on the bright white paper.
It's just phenomenal. There's a picture of this is it. Look at that.
Hold on, I'll make it bigger. Hold on.
So if any of you know Glasgow, right? Oh, hold on. Is I going to get focus here? That there. So that is the. Here we have. Oh no, this one. Sorry. Here we have the infamous Duke of Wellington.
Yeah.
It's just the artwork is phenomenal. That's one of the first things I noticed about it when I read it. It's just blew me away.
Is it like this is me coming across as like the total like considering I should know this stuff? Was it the Bogeyman that the 77 guys have been working on this year? Is that right?
Yeah. They published it. You see their logo there, bottom right. Yeah. So they did the Kickstarter and got it published.
There was another thing. I mean, it was either adapted or inspired. I can't remember which. But did Robbie Coltrane do a thing?
It was based on the comic book. Yeah,
based on the comic book. Yeah, which they weren't too happy about. I actually watched it just recently. So the premise of the story is of the Bogeyman himself is something I've never heard of before or read ever really. It basically Francis Clooney is from the what they call the loony bin, which is Spin Binny Looney Bin, and he thinks he is Humphrey Bogart. And he goes through he escapes from it in each one, and he just thinks he's Humphrey Bogart, and so he's going through all the kind of Humphrey Bogart movies and stuff, and just making connections here and there, and it's just hysterical. The whole thing is brilliant, really good.
I'm looking forward to reading it. Like, we kind of talked about this. I really struggled with the comic earlier this year, but this definitely. I think it was a massive coup for the 77, wasn't it, to be able to pull this off? for them to be able to publish something with something so prolific is quite incredible.
Yeah.
So.
They must be very proud to be able to say that they pulled off the bogeyman.
Yeah. Colin, okay. I really struggled for this. I looked at all the comics I'd read, and when we talked about before we went to air, that I read a couple of books this year, but not really read much comics. It's been a funny year. I did at the start, very early on, and picked up. I was at Acme earlier this year, actually, or late last year. I picked up Kid Eastwood from Conor Tierney, but I did read it over the summer, and I really enjoyed it. So, folk need to check it out. Local was really trying to get Conor for decaf, but he's down the other side of Glasgow, kind of East Kilbride way, and doesn't drive, and was just like I think just a bit burnt out. So he was like, and something else was happening. So he was like, "Oh, I can't really make it." So hopefully next year. But yeah, everyone needs to check out Kid Eastwood by Conor Tierney.
Conor is a total machine. He just pumps out books constantly. He's amazing. Like he just pumps out pages left, right, and centre. He's unbelievable. He's a very talented young lad, and he goes for it. Goes for it. Good. He's good.
Just really good. He is. I think we had him on. Was it? I can't remember who was on the show with me. Was it you and me, David? But we had Conor on.
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
He can knock out 2 or 3 pages a day if he's really going for it.
Aye.
It's just unbelievable. Like when you see the quality of his work and actually how deep the stories in that are, to be aware that's good. So yeah, that was genuinely like probably one of the only things I read this year. But it really left I was really excited when I got Volume 3 because I thoroughly enjoyed Volume 1 and 2. And I think they made my shortlist last year. So yeah, I think one of the main things about Scottish Comic Book Day is how it is that celebration of Scottish comics, and I think there's guys like Conor that don't get enough credit for just how good they are. So yeah, that's my book of the year. John, did I get the right picture?
It's a combination of everything, yeah. So basically, it's Void Rivals, which is it kicked off the Image. They call it the Energon universe. So basically, it's kicking off the combined Transformers and G.I. Joe universe for Image. But within itself, the Void Rivals title, it's kind of like an Enemy Mine process. If you ever remember the film Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid, it's kind of like two alien pilots find themselves stranded on a planet, and they come across Jetfire, who's the Transformer. He's been there for millennium, and basically that's all that appears in the first issue, and then it carries on with these two pilots' struggle. And then when issue 1 of Transformers comes out, Jetfire arrives and kicks off the arc, creating the Transformers again. It's pretty cool. It's Robert Kirkman, so quite a lot of surprises here and there. Very, very entertaining, very enjoyable, and I look forward to the G.I. Joe titles that are kicking off in the new year. We've got a Duke miniseries and a Cobra Commander miniseries, which will be tying in with the Void Rivals and Transformers.
That's pretty cool.
I love G.I. Joe.
Yeah, man, G.I. Joe's great. Yeah.
The fact they've got Kirkman behind it as well. Was the other book that I read this year was a Transformers title. So I think the Transformers must just be having a really good year in comics. They did.
Well, this is them back in comics. IDW lost the franchise, so there'd been no Transformers comics for a while, and obviously on the back of the Rise of the Beasts movie, everyone's a little bit jazzed about Transformers being good again, because that's been 2 Transformers movies in a row that have been decent. And of course, no spoilers, but there's a wee surprise sting at the end that ties in with the larger movie universe as well. So
I think there was a thing about the Transformers is that much as I love the comics and how they looked and everything like that, the storytelling wasn't particularly great from the 1980s in the comics. And I think a decade or so ago when they came out with, it was All Hail Megatron, was probably the first one that came to me. And you could really see that they could do proper grown-up writing and do a probably more modern take on it.
Definitely.
The book I read, which I think was the last IDW one, actually, where you've seen it moving over to Image. The last IDW series was called Last Spot Standing, and it was basically Logan, but it was Hot Rod instead of Wolverine.
Awesome.
Yeah, it just
Well, they must
so, and
try.
that was a really good series. So I think it came out last year, but I only actually read it this year. But that's really exciting. When you sent me that list, I had a look at it, and I was just like, "Oh, that actually does look and sound quite amazing."
Well, the Transformers title itself, it's if you've ever read the 80s Marvel stuff or ever seen the Generation 1 cartoon, it has that flavour, it has that feel, but then it has the little Kirkman twists. Kirkman likes to, just change things up a little bit, and it has that feel. The artwork isn't overly mechanical. Although artists have been relying on the artists to look very much like the movie characters, very kind of mechanical. You can see the bolts and nuts and whatnot, but this just looks nice and cartoony. It's really nice.
That's a cool, man. I like Jetfire is amazing. Focusing on the story on Jetfire, he's one of my favorite Transformers anyway, and he got done dirty in the older movies. So hopefully,
top 5 Transformers. No, that's for another day.
Yeah. Oh, last one. And Ben said, I think Ben loses a couple points for saying the best comic of the year was the comic that he edited, but this comic is Haunted is an amazing series. Overseen by, is it Dave Healy that oversees this comic?
Dave Healy is the guy really behind it, so he's really the editor, but Ben's the publisher and chief editor, I suppose. So yeah.
And I had the first issue and it was great. I have not picked up the second one yet, but I backed the first one on Kickstarter and really enjoyed it. So cheers to that, Ben. Okay, movies, not movie, singular. What was everyone's favorite movie? So I had this will be quite interesting, I think, for debate wise, because this sort of trend of us not picking the same stuff kind of continues, which I expected for comic and beer, but didn't expect for movie. So the fact that we all, without seeing each other's choices, all picked something different was quite phenomenal. So starting off, Andrew, believe it or not, picked the Flash.
Yeah, I picked the Flash, and I'll say this: I've been a long-term, as people will know,
long-term flasher,
DC expanded universe, long-term flasher. No, geez, anymore. I've always stuck up for the DC expanded universe. I thought the Superman movies were great. I thought the Justice League Snyder Cut was excellent. Even Batman v Superman, I could have watched it for only half an hour. Thought it was a good movie. This was just an absolute romp of a movie. I loved it. I thought, obviously there's a problem with the lead actor, but he's undeniably good in the role. It was great seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman. We twist at the end with the new Bruce Wayne. The girl who had playing Supergirl, whose name escapes me.
He was gorgeous, man.
Yeah, and it was just a really, really good, really, really enjoyable movie. And I loved it. And I had a couple of choices this year. And I went with this one because it was the comic book movie. I nearly went with the same movie as somebody else has gone with. But I'll come to that and give them a chance to talk about their movie because they were the actual person who told me about that movie that I was going to go for. So,
well, that was the thing. Apart from the movie you're explaining, everyone picked almost everyone, that one and one other ones. So of like I said that almost everyone actually, like, because there's 6 of us, it was actually like 2/3 were comic book movies. Well, the Flash was, I'm a massive The Flash fan, and even that, I was like, it wasn't even my favorite multiverse movie of that week.
Yeah. I absolutely think it was. If we're going to come to something else, but I mean, this was. I picked this because it was the comic book movie, and the other one I went for wasn't a comic book movie. But I was on record as saying when I watched it, it was the most fun I'd had in 90 minutes this year. Probably it was just an absolute blast. This other movie, which we'll come on to in a wee bit.
I watched it and I enjoyed it. What annoyed me about it, what I just don't know what the DCEU is. Like, where does this sit within amongst all the rest of them? Where is Barry Allen now?
It's almost dead, mate. It's almost gone. A reboot's coming. Probably never going to be the character again. They've already recast Batman, Superman. I think Aquaman is going to be the swan song.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then there'll be a new takeoff from there, I think. So.
It's one of the reasons why Blue Beetle didn't interact with the rest of the extended universe, isn't it? Because they want to keep Blue Beetle on.
Keep it completely separate, I think, which did a good job of it. I didn't think it was a particularly good movie. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. I watched it. I was a wee bit disappointed in it.
Is it streaming at the moment, Blue Beetle?
Yeah, you can stream that legally now.
Oh, we don't talk again. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my favourite movie of the year, but Blue Beetle was one of my favourite movies of the year. It was my second or third favourite. Really enjoyed it. But anyway, yeah, I went to cinema to see Flash on opening day. So buzzing for the Flash. And
so did I. Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I thought Ezra Miller, they did an amazing job, which was quite frustrating because it's a bit like we've had this conversation about other actors in the pub, but like when you're trying to, can you enjoy a piece of art if you know the characters behind the creation of it are so troubled? And I found that the Flash fell into that. When the main protagonist of the whole movie can't take part in publicity, doing all the publicity stuff because of their behaviour. I found that really challenging. It was as a movie, it was great, and Michael Keaton was incredible.
He was.
I watched Batman over the weekend. After I watched Doctor Who, I watched Batman '89, and that's a great movie.
It is a phenomenally good movie.
Here's we got Colin. So this is Colin's favourite movie, which actually last year we made a kind of a point when we did this about everything we talked about. I don't know if it was me and Andrew that came up with this, but everything had to come out that year. And so that kind of skewed what we put. But with this year, I've just put, like what folk wanted rather than what folk enjoyed. Obviously, is it Sisu? I've not seen Sisu. Sisu came out in 2022, but obviously it would have been streaming. It would have been streaming already this year,
but not here. Yeah, so
the UK release would have been 2023.
Yeah, so it's an over-the-top World War II story set in Finland. This guy here that you see here is a kind of renowned soldier fighter, and he's kind of retired a bit to the countryside, away from the war. Doesn't want to get involved in it when a bunch of nasty Nazis turn up, and he kind of is forced out of retirement in a kind of John Wick style, completely over the top, very comic book styley. It's like something that could have been in perhaps Battle Action or something, and I loved it. I thought it was just great fun.
I think it's more like a Garth Ennis war story or something like that.
It's got that, definitely that Garth Ennis feel about it. It's just this very gory and blood splattered and over the top.
This was the one that was nearly my one that we were talking about. Like I say, the most fun 90 minutes. And I only heard about it when we were at Errol and you were telling me about it, Colin, and I went home that night and watched it. And what a blast. Absolutely.
I've went to watch this a few times, but because it's not streaming for free, I have not watched it yet. That's the only reason. It looks amazing.
No, it's not.
I've heard you both talk about it. I've heard it's really good. So, you both said it's very good.
So, it was. It's like it says, it just gets more and more over the top as it goes along.
Yeah.
And just brilliant movie.
David.
Oh my God!
The movie 2023 was a movie that came out in 2004, but it's incredible, so it has to go in there.
Yeah. So I've not watched really that many movies at all this year. I've kind of been just more reading comics and just doing stuff, really dealing with family and watching kids' movies more than anything else. And this movie kept popping up on different feeds, Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And you need to watch this. But it was never streaming anywhere. And it wasn't until maybe last week before that it started streaming on More 4 or All 4, whatever it's called. And I stuck it on, and it's really, really good. So it's 2004, directed by a guy called Shane Meadows, who directs This Is England, Once Upon a Time in the Midlands. And it's a guy called, the main actor is Paddy
Paddy Considine.
Yes, you recognise him. I'm not too sure what he's in, but you'll recognise him anyway. And his brother in it is a guy called Toby Cabell. And he's in Rock and Roller.
Yeah.
He's the main actor in Rock and Roller. And it's great. It's basically about so the main actor or the main character, goes away to the army for about 10 years or whatever. And as he goes away, his mentally handicapped brother is kind of under the wing of these kind of gangster guys who basically bully him, and it leads to certain thing happening. And the main character, I can't forget his name now, comes back from his time away and basically just acts revenge on all these wannabe gangsters and dealers. And it's just great. It's got a great twist at the end. It's proper indie. It took 3 weeks to film it. I was watching a wee interview with Paddy Considine, whatever his name, and he was saying that he was sitting in a pub with these guys, the guys that created it, and they were basically talking about in their own village people who done horrible things but get away with it. And it's like, wouldn't it be nice if someone just went and fucking, acted revenge on them? And that's where the film came from. That's where the story came from. And they wrote a story. They wrote 60 pages within a couple of weeks. And then his words are the guerrilla filmed it in the Midlands in 3 weeks' time. Or 3 weeks in total, sorry. And the end result is quality. I would recommend it. It's on more 4 on demand or whatever just now. It's about an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. It's pretty cool, man.
Can I just say, these lists are a surprise to us as well, because we sent our information to Jeff separately and he didn't share it. This was never going to be my favourite movie of the year. But this is because I was doing this year. This is one of my favourite movies of all time. And this is the best 3 minutes of cinema ever made. And it's like,
I've got you here, mate. I've got you here, mate. Fucking here.
Absolutely phenomenal movie.
It's quality. The whole thing is great. And, just because it's 2004, but it's the best movie I've watched this year. And so,
great film.
Highly recommended, man.
Paddy Considine was in one of the Bourne movies. He was also in Hot Fuzz.
He was the dad in House of the Dragon.
Hot Fuzz.
The king.
There you go. He's in tons. You recognise him straight away. He's in tons.
He's one of those actors that crops up all over.
He's in Hot Fuzz. He's one of the Andes.
He's great in Pride.
He's great. He's absolutely incredible in Pride. He is just. He's just one of those guys that the World's End. He's one of the guys in the World's End, isn't he? When they go on it's a great show. He's a great actor, and that's like Dead Man Shoes is. Dead Man Shoes. Fine, I think. When I really we've talked about it before, and I remember during lockdown when people were sending it like everyone folk were starting to have conversations about like the best movies to watch because we were all stuck in our house. Dead Man Shoes came up constantly. It's totally underappreciated as a film, and it's really, really good.
I just love the whole indie aspect of it, and where it's come from and how and when what it is. I just love all that on top of the fact that it's a great movie.
Okay. Cool.
Right, who's next? That's my Mutant Mayhem by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mutant Mayhem. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. One of the best films of the year. One of the best, definitely the best Turtles movie since 1990. Sorry, it's just
wow,
just really cool.
Better than the ones with Megan Fox.
Yeah, miles better than Megan Fox.
Megan Fox needs to watch.
I picked a random picture because I can't. Donatello's head's not in this picture for some reason. But I'm not. I don't know why that is, but this is one I just pulled off the internet. It's really good. Amazing cast, amazing score from Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails is the an amazing score, but amazing soundtrack as well. There's been quite a lot of pop songs used in films this year, and it's been quite off-putting. The Mario Brother movie sticks to my head quite as here's just random songs that we popped into random scenes in this film. But Mutant Mayhem was great. It's a great voice cast. Ice-T, the lady from The Bear, Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan was brilliant casting.
Kevin Eastman, friend of the podcast. He's got a good voice. He's got a very small but very pivotal role in the film. Just a great movie. Just very, very funny. Amazing animation style. If you haven't seen it, because the last 4 Turtle movies the last set, every Turtle movie you can think of for the last 20 years has been quite shit, apart from the CGI one that nobody watched. So yeah, you need to give this a go because it's great. And Seth Rogen, being one of the main guys behind it, did an amazing job. So yeah, that was my pick.
I've not watched it. Sorry. But I've not watched it. But you just said that it's the best movie since the 1990 original movie. Now that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that huge because, like, when you think about it, like, all those movies were rubbish.
I watched that just the other day, man, and I fucking love it. It's
the 1990s one's great, and this is a complete redo again. So, like, this is the Turtles on there. Like, they've not become the vigilantes yet. This is them starting that journey. It's just a really good film. I just really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Suitable for 4-year-olds, do you think?
I took Sonny to see it. It's got fights and stuff in it, but
cartoon violence, but
cartoon violence.
It's like 90 minutes as well, dead short.
Cool. Okay, cool.
John picked, which I thought was going to be the standout movie of the year for us as geeks. To be honest, I thought this was going to be a very easy win. It was a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So. Oh, I'll unmute. Sorry. Where am I? But yeah, anyone that saw Spider-Verse, including me, loved it.
I'll just say, because I thought 4 years ago when the first one came out, that was the easiest choice for me for movie of the year.
Really good.
This one didn't quite live up to the hype for me, and I think part of my problem was the disappointment I felt right at the end when I realised it wasn't a standalone movie. It was the first part of a two-parter. And I didn't go into the movie knowing that. I probably would have waited till next. Is it next year? The next one's out.
June, I think. Is it not quite soon?
Hopefully,
could be even longer.
I'll Google it just now.
I love the
animation. I think it was May or June, but unless there's been delays, obviously there's been the actor strike and stuff, I suppose. So.
I've not seen it yet.
Why did you pick this one? What was your?
Johnny, you speaking?
He's not got his headphones.
Sorry, I think there's a problem with my mic, so I don't know if it's picking up everyone else's mics, so I'm putting the headphones back on.
You're all right now.
Okay. Well, I don't know what's happening. Across the Spider-Verse, I just watched it again 2 days ago. It's just stunning. It was very close between this and The Flash and Indiana Jones for me. I watched them all within like a couple of weeks of each other, and I was just blown away by the quality of movies that came out within that short period of time. Mm-hmm. But Across the Spider-Verse, it looks like the comics. All the Gwen Stacy stuff looks like the Spider-Gwen comics. It's stunning. The use of color for the mood, the different animation styles, and just the voice cast as well. And obviously I knew going into it was a part 1, because that's how it was advertised when it first came out. So I knew at a certain point it was just going to end. And it's kind of like an Empire Strikes Back kind of end. It was kind of like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, part 3 is going to kick ass.
I thought it was amazing. It was just if I hadn't seen the Turtles movie this year, this would have been my pick. Just really phenomenal. I knew it was going to be a part 1 of a part 2. I just double checked. Beyond the Spider-Verse doesn't, because of the double strike that happened in Hollywood this year, it's been moved back into 2025, which is annoying because I think the release date was my birthday next year, which was supposed to be like March 30th, and it's been moved. But my understanding was it was almost finished. But I think there's been quite a lot of films that have had to get delayed because of the strike. The next Avatar movie I think got moved back as well. But it was great. Great voice cast, amazing soundtrack, the best looking animated film I can ever think of, to be honest. Before I saw Across the Universe, Enter the Spider-Verse was like was probably the best looking film. If anyone's like, what's the best looking movie you can think of, it would have been that. Not that anyone goes around asking you that question, but the last Spider-Verse movie, but this one betters it just by being like bigger. So the scene between Gwen and that particular stand out for me as like some of the most beautiful use of color and stuff.
The animation of the original of the first one Into the Spider-Verse was it changed the game for a lot of reasons. I think they did something that was almost like a stop motion. Some of the characters were done in, and it was it was absolutely phenomenal. Far and away my best movie of the year when that came out. Animations for animated movies and animated comic TV shows are getting so much better. The animation styles that are just becoming so amazing. I don't know if anybody watched it. They did a show based on the League of Legends games, whose name Arcane, which had the most stunning animation I've ever seen anywhere. Every scene looked like it was hand painted with oils. It was just beautiful. So yeah, animation's coming a long way. And in a couple of years, it's just going to get better and better as the AI takes over from pesky humans. And,
The AI is a conversation for our podcast. Was it not? Was the whole thing about Spider-Verse that they gave like each scene? Don't know if it was every scene, but they gave it to different. They outsourced a lot of the art to different.
I think they used the original art, like for Spider-Punk and for Delhi Spider-Man, the Indian Spider-Man. They did them all in their original styles, which they'd done in the original one because there was only 4 or 5 of them. It didn't pop out so much, but with this one there was dozens of them, and they did them all in different styles, which was pretty amazing.
My understanding, and like I can be corrected, I'm going to have to read up on it, but I know specifically for the first Spider-Verse movie, they got different art teams to animate, and then they just pulled it all together. So like
possibly,
and that's.
I mean, there's a Lego sequence in the film.
Oh, I fucking love the Lego bit.
Well, that was farmed out to a kid who'd actually he made a fan version of the trailer out of Lego, and they just contacted him and said, "Look, do you want to do the Lego for this film?" So amazing.
Yeah.
I like that Lego scene. The bit where he vocally does the noise of his like.
Yeah.
What I quite like about that scene is the like. Obviously, I didn't before I said this. Like I didn't know this until you revealed that. But I quite like that the Lego art is a bit shit. Like it's clearly like there's a fan made aspect to it. That's like it's not had the Lego movie guys doing it. You know what I mean? I quite like that. So there's a YouTube. It's
not got the polish. Yeah.
It's just a YouTuber. You know, they contacted him and said, "Look, we loved your fan trailer. Come and work on our film, please."
They've obviously spoken to Lego now, though. So if Lego is officially part of the Marvel Universe now, when they're doing these multiverse movies, they can do the Lego ones. So it's only a matter of time, surely, before Lego Batman gets in there. Yeah, it was a good movie.
Stu, you picked Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it was like the most intense 3-hour history lesson I've ever had. I went and saw it in IMAX, and the loudest experience in a cinema I've ever had. It's great. It's almost like it is a Christopher Nolan movie, but it's almost full of just like all the Batman villains, but there's no Batman in it. But yeah, I've watched it twice this year, and it kind of confirmed that is probably one of the best films I've seen this year. Cillian Murphy was terrific. You had Emily Blunt was really good, and there was like no small parts that were just given to like a no-name act. Like every small part was this huge like A-list actor. You were thinking, all right, who's the president? Oh, for fuck's sake, it's Gary Oldman. Like they couldn't just have a normal person, like a no-name. Everyone came out of the load of works to be in this movie, and yeah, it's a riveting story. The sound design is amazing. The score. It's one of these films I was going into it. It's like, will this work? And yeah, phenomenal.
It's Christopher Nolan, so I'm going to assume the score's Hans Zimmer.
It could be. I mean, his last movie they had, I can't remember. It's Jurgen something.
It was the Black Panther guy, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, because he has changed it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Hans Zimmer for this one. But no, it was a terrific film. Yes, it's 3 hours. You can watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles twice.
Yeah, Ludwig Göransson, who also did Black Panther.
Yeah, that sounds about
right. Which was my favorite piece of music. Like the Black Panther soundtrack from last year was incredible. So yeah, the new Hans Zimmer, I think.
The new Hans Zimmer, who was the new John Williams.
Yeah.
For Nolan, anyway. But yeah, just a really great film. Never expected like it as much as I did. And like Robert Downey Jr., whilst he's just plays like a supporting role, like he needs like all like the nominations when it comes to award season. It's just a brilliant performance for a guy that I thought, well, that's it. He's Iron Man forever now. Like, he still manages to turn heads.
I'm glad he does because I watched the Doolittle movie because it was him. I was like, I want to see how he got on that post Iron Man, and it wasn't very good. And then there was talk about him coming back, and it was like, oh, has the post Iron Man career failed already? But
well, it was a neck and neck between him and his character in Tropic Thunder.
He's his fourth career now, I think. So whenever anyone says that's him done, he's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he made a film called The Judge with Robert Duvall, which was fantastic, and that was just after the Iron Man films. So he still can act, but I think he was going kid friendly with Doolittle.
That movie was always going to do really, really well because it had the world's greatest actor,
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio, indeed.
Indeed.
World's greatest actor and person.
So. Anyone else seen Oppenheimer? I haven't.
I haven't. It's available at stream now, so I think I might give it a go now that I can stream it.
I was emotionally not ready for it. I went to the cinema. I actually went to the cinema to go and see it, and then went to go and see Spider-Verse for a second time. It was just like, yeah, I'm not emotionally ready for this yet. But yeah, and our friend said, Sonny said Spider-Verse was his favorite movie. And Ben said Barbieheimer, which I know was the whole thing, wasn't it? Like,
it was both out the same weekend. I actually haven't seen Barbie, and from all the people I know that have seen it, it's very mixed reactions. So
my daughter and my wife went to see Barbie, and my daughter came back and said, "That's that was a waste of £7." She said. I seen it. I watched it. Me and Lisa watched it. Well, when I say me and Lisa watched it, Lisa fell asleep, and I watched it by myself, which normally happens when I watch a movie. It was okay. It was, it was some funny moments.
Can I just say before we go into TV shows as well, we're doing our best movie of the year, but it's only the 1st of December. I'm enormously excited for a movie called Rebel Moon, which is coming out just before Christmas. It's actually a movie rejected by Star Wars. The trailers look phenomenal. Everything about it just looks phenomenal. So I'll come back in January if I've changed my mind.
I'm the same. I'm expecting Godzilla -1 is going to IMAX on the 15th of December. So we're all going to go see that. Whilst it might not be my film of the year, but it's still kind of the next big thing I'm expecting to see this year.
Coming out too late for the Brewgooders Award ceremony.
Yeah.
John's passing out over
John's chucking up in the background. Godzilla.
Yeah, he's been Godzilla right now. Just to go back to the Barbie movie, I've just watched Toy Story 3, and the Barbie and Ken in that were fucking hysterical. I mean, that was
no, they were great in that. Yeah.
Michael Keaton, wasn't it? That was Barbie from. No,
Ryan Gosling's good in just about everything. Like Ryan Gosling, I'd be hard pushed to name a bad movie.
It was funny, but
my sister-in-law saw Barbie, and when I asked her what did you think of it, she said the Meg 2 was better.
Meg 2. That's Jason Statham. Of course, it was better. It's Jason Statham.
Do you know what I don't like?
Punching a shark, exactly.
Punching a shark.
I don't like meta films. See anything that's meta. Like I just don't ever buy it. Anything that mixes reality with fiction, I just don't get it. It just doesn't work for me. And that's what the Barbie movie is. It mixes reality with fiction, and I'm just like, no.
I'm looking for escapism. How dare you bring me back?
I don't want my fiction being fucking real. It's like that's the way it is. I know it's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're closing yourself off from so many good movies, mate. From Cool World or From a Life Less Ordinary or
Cool World. Life. I've never seen it.
When you said cool, the first thing in my head is like Cool Runnings.
Aye. I was like, wait a minute, that's not meta.
I'm looking at that wrong, Johnny. That's the one where the guy comes out of the comic and
Brad Pitt and Kim Basinger.
Yeah,
man.
Classics, man.
Some big movies coming out in December. Like having a look at as you were chatting there. There's the Colour Purple. The remake of The Colour Purple comes out. There's a movie about Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. They're remaking The Colour Purple.
Yeah.
Oscar winning The Colour Purple.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Why did they remake RoboCop?
It's like 10 years overdue.
Risk on something new. Just milk an old IP.
I'm a massive fan of Paul Kinnaman as well, but yeah, why did they make a new RoboCop? But the Colour Purple was it won every award for screenplay, best film, best actress.
They're remaking it.
Goldberg, it'd be like remaking Gone with the Wind or something like that.
There's a new Wonka movie coming out this year.
Yeah.
There's a
at least that's not out and out remake. That's more in the nature of a prequel.
Prequel, yeah.
The Wizard of Oz actually has like 11 books tied to it.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. There's like 11 books.
There's movies can be done from the Oz books, definitely. Colour Purple's the one of them.
Total Recall, the Total Recall remake was more like a remake of the book rather than of the Arnie film, wasn't it? It was more. I watched Total Recall.
Made it less good. I mean, it made it less fun. You know, I think fair enough. The Total Recall one wasn't that close to the book, but it was a fucking romp of a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was great, and Michael Ironside, the best villain ever.
The only actress in Hollywood, 3 breasts.
Michael Ironside. I just watched him last week in The Next Karate Kid. He's the bad guy in that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the leader of the school bad guys.
Is he trying to cry chop Hilary Swank?
Well,
did he break Hilary Swank's neck?
No comment.
You're the one that put his shoulder down.
Yeah.
You tried to beat Connor McLeod in Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is pipped to play him soon.
Was that?
Henry Cavill is pipped to play Connor McLeod.
So I'm led to believe, which is crazy because Henry Cavill's like 6'3". He should be the Kurgan. And like Timothy Chalamet should be Connor McLeod, but I think
Timothy Chalamet.
He's French and quite skinny. Who are they going to get to play the Kurgan and be more physically imposing?
Who's going to take Sean Connery's role? I reckon Mel Gibson reprising his Braveheart accent.
As an old man, that would work. By the way, I would pay to see that.
That would work.
I'm going to do TV shows, yeah.
One last mention. I was actually wondering if anyone was going to choose the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I saw that this year, and that was quite good.
It was okay.
It was fun, but no, it's not a movie.
Yeah.
It was okay. I think Chris Pine's another one of those guys, like I'm talking about Ryan Gosling, that he's an immensely likable guy who makes good movies. But I don't know if that makes him a movie star.
Yeah, it's definitely an ensemble piece.
I like him as Captain Kirk.
He was great as Kirk. He was great as Robert the Bruce. He was
good at Robert the Bruce, actually.
Yeah.
I like that.
He's always good. But
film just outside Decaf, that Robert the Bruce film.
Yeah,
the actual festival itself. That's amazing.
I bumped into Colin there. Yeah,
in the graveyard that you could see from the window was one of the
they filmed it in the Abbey.
I actually know a guy who was one of the guys who was Robert the Bruce's sort of background guys in the fight they had at the where the boats go, the harbour. And I don't know if you know Kaz, who used to own the gaming shop in Kirkcaldy. Yeah, from Minmax. Yeah, he does extra work in movies, and he was.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the comments. So like last week in during the raffle at DCAF, we got sort of bombarded. Like at one point there was like loads of folk liking it, and me and Andrew mentioned it afterwards. He'd looked at like all these people that are liking it, and it was clearly bots. Like it was like 10 likes and viewers who have never ever watched a Brewgooders episode before. Never mind like. And then our comments just now just got bombarded by somebody called Gloria HD. She's just rattling on in Spanish about something. Don't click on
lock them and get them everyone. Right, TV shows. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was everyone's favorite TV show of the year. I really struggled with this, and then because I was going on with last year's choices, like last year's thing that it had to be. I think last year it was like we picked something that was new, and then something that like a new program, and then something that had continued. But we just went with program this year. So Andrew, you picked Deadlock.
I did. I think this was a complete like with my wife. One of the few sort of genres we watched together, a kind of murdery miniseries or something like that. So we put this on, expecting a kind of 8-part, like The Fall or something like that, and it was just a revelation. This was, it was a good mystery. Bodies kept popping up and stuff like this, and it kept going. It wasn't like an episode of the week. There was one story, coherent story, which ran the whole eight episodes, which kept you guessing right to the end. And it was bloody funny. Like it just laugh out loud moments. The two leads, complete polar opposites, were just brilliant. You can see the four people you've got in there. The girl who was on the left hand side is one of the deputies, and she's a kind of like, she's almost a genius when it comes to working out. She was the thing. The two detectives in the middle there, and I think that is that Olaf in the background, the other policeman. Who never wanted anything to do. It was just, it was absolutely hilarious. Kept you guessing. Acting was brilliant.
What's it on?
Sorry?
What's
Amazon.
It's on
Amazon Prime. It's free, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised as well. Yeah, it was on my top of my list as well. Because it literally popped up in my feed one day. It was Amazon Originals, and I just watched a sort of cop series with Alfred Molina in it as well, which was quite good. And then this popped up, and I thought, you know what? It sounds very much like a Broadchurch type thing. I'll watch it. And yeah, it was genius. Yeah. Highly recommended.
I hadn't heard of it until you put it up, Andrew. And I was like, actually, I need to watch this. So it's on my list.
That is really good. Really good.
Loved it.
Many episodes, Andrew?
It's like 8, I think.
Yeah.
So 8 1-hour episodes. So you can do it in a week if you watched a couple of episodes when you come home from work or something like that. That's what we watched it over the course of maybe 2 weeks. And there was TV shows this year. I decided to go with a new show. There was loads of returning shows which were brilliant this year. I think For All Mankind is in its kind of swan song year, and it's been consistently good since it came around. I think Loki season 2 was very good. So there was a couple of returning shows this year, which I thought, if I'd done it, but for a brand new show, 1 episode standalone, yeah, this was easily the best show that I've seen this year.
Amazing, man. I'm actually excited to see it. You've totally sold it. Colin, you put Happy Valley, which I think ended this year. Is that right?
This is what I expected, by the way. This is Happy Valley. Was like looked at this and I thought this is Australian Happy Valley or something like that. I expected any seriousness, but
I've seen all seasons of Happy Valley. I didn't realise there was another season out. If this is a new season, Happy Valley is great. She is brilliant in this.
So this was the one that was kind of 9 years after the original series. So everybody's grown up. Superb acting, gripping storyline. The young lad is, he's grown up. He's a teenager now. Same actor, reprising his role, and he's Reese Conham, I think his name is. He was brilliant in it, and it was just a gripping, real life kind of drama, mixing both the cop side of it, the kind of detective stuff, with sort of family drama as well, and just absolutely brilliant. James Norton as the baddie. Tommy Lee Royce is just fantastic in it, and most things I've seen him in since, he's been pretty good.
Is that the guy that he's kind of one of the hot contenders to be Bond? Is that him?
I think he was, yeah. And I've seen him in a show that was a bit like Bond, or a movie that was a bit Bondish, and he was pretty good in it. Yeah.
The whole I've seen this season. It's brilliant. I mean, the storyline with the boy, with the young lad who's now a teenager, it's just fucking. Oh man, it's so heartbreaking. It's a great TV show. It's really good.
I mean, I'm sorry, I couldn't go for a geek show. I couldn't go for Ahsoka or one of the Marvel shows because they're nowhere near this. Don't touch it.
Nah, fair enough. You're totally right. I mean, me and Lisa both watched this, and it's absolutely brilliant. This was out at the start of the year, I think, was it?
Yeah, it was very early on in the year.
BBC do that quite a lot, don't they? They'll put something up. They'll put something like really good on, maybe like the first or second week of January. It's just like there's like a wee black spot in telly where they just put on good drama at the start of the year.
Highly recommended. If anyone's not seen this, I would definitely recommend to go to watch this.
Never seen a single episode.
Yeah, it's on my list. Yeah,
she is excellent.
Completely misleading title.
Yeah.
There's nothing happy about it at all, man. It's good. It's grim. It's gripping. It's great. It really is good.
Awesome. Cheers, Colin. David, you put Blue Eye Samurai.
Man, so this just came to my attention thanks to Rory Donald, who's the illustrator for what did they do again? The comic book with the four lads or the five lads that go away.
The Hordes of Surrey.
Yeah, Hordes of Surrey. That's it. This is amazing. So this is just on Netflix. It's just been released in the past 2 or 3 weeks. I totally binge watched it. It's kind of anime, but it's for Netflix, so it's not anime, but it's kind of based on that style of animation. And it's beautiful, man. Like it's snowing. It's set in 1633 feudal Japan, where Japan have closed off all the borders to everybody, so there's no Westerners out there.
Sure, I couldn't go for us. 33.
Who's watching the episode back?
Sorry. Colin, are you watching yourself?
It's a ventriloquist.
Nope. It said feudal Japan.
Sorry. Who's Oh, we're having an Inception moment.
Who's watching the TV? There we go. We're good. It's in feudal Japan, 1633, where no foreigners are allowed in Japan, and so it's just Japanese people basically. And the main character is a half caste from before, and they become a samurai, and they have vowed to act revenge on the 4 Westerners that they believe to be within Japan at this point in time. And it's just that person going out and kicking ass, basically. And it's brilliant. I watched, 8 episodes in about 2 or 3 nights, and it's absolutely brilliant. I was gripped from start to finish. And I think there's going to be there's 4 people to kill. They killed one, just before, you don't actually see how that happened. And then there's another one that happened. So there's another 2. So there's at least another 2 or 3 seasons to come, and it is great. And the animation is just beautiful. It's snowing, Japan, all the kind of the fucking trees and shit and samurai swords,
mountains,
water everywhere, and fucking it's great. Watch it.
A Netflix show, is it? Or?
Yeah,
it's on Netflix. It's lovely.
Cool. I'll look out for.
Awesome. I picked Bear as mine. Season 2 of Bear. It's fucking phenomenal.
Everybody raves about this show, and I didn't get it. Like, I liked it. It was all right, but so many people are like, "This is the best show ever," and I'm just no seeing it.
So watch the first episode. For me, the problem with this is it's too closely tied to my work.
Yeah.
So I've really good.
Who are involved in catering or hospitality or you know, like just working professional kitchens and professional working in this sort of environment, and that seems to be
it's pretty close to the bone.
First episode.
Sorry.
Sorry, Andrew, that was me.
So they do one episode which is done in one shot, almost like 25 minutes or something like that. And if you've ever worked a line in a restaurant when it's busy, it's like you say, it's pretty spot on.
Definitely the first day me and Lisa watched one episode, maybe 2 episodes, and it's pretty close to the bone, man. I can totally understand where it's come from, and I get it. It is good, but I was just like, oh god, I don't know if I can watch this.
I thought season 2 in particular. So like season 1 ended with quite a cool wee twist that like changed the game. It didn't like if you looked at like the sort of twist at the end of season 1, it doesn't stand up to scrutiny all that well, but like it sets up season 2 quite well. So in season 2, there's quite like what I particularly loved about season 2 was it's actually one of the main criticisms is they send a lot of the characters off to do like the idea is that the restaurant's getting completely rebranded. It's becoming the Bear rather than what was it called, Beef before? Stu, you watched it.
The Beef, yeah.
It's called the Beef, and they're changing it from the beef to the Bear. But Carm, the main guy, who owns the place, he sends folk off to do different tasks. So there's an episode set in Copenhagen, I think, and it's brilliant. Mm-hmm. And then it's funny because I saw when Stu sent me his list, he said the Bear as well. Did you say the Bear as well?
Yeah.
You said the Bear as well, but you said the Bear, and then you specifically said
a specific episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I would say my favorite episode is Fishes, which is the but they come back to back. So there's
Thanksgiving episode, was it?
The Fishes is the flashback episode, yeah. Where
aye, because the 4 fishes. Yeah.
And then there's an episode called, but then I forgot when you sent me your list and said specifically Forks. I googled it. I was like, what one was Forks? And I was like, oh, actually, that was a good episode. There's a whole episode where like they send the gruffest, rudest member of their staff to one of the poshest restaurants in Chicago to like learn how to be a better like front of house. And it's great. It's really, really good. Amazing cameo by Olivia Colman. Massive show fan. So seeing her show up was great as well. So the Bear was good. Just very well acted. I like Andrew says, folks. I've spoke to a lot of folk who are like that don't get it, or particularly the first episode is, or they find that first episode of season 1 really jarring because it's so high tempo the whole episode. Mm-hmm. I think it's supposed to be. But then it just mellows out, and actually, Carm, it's season 2. Carm, there's a love interest, and he's too highly strung to just sit and chill and realize that she's probably the best thing for him. And there's all this stuff going on. It's just a really cool episode. So it's good. The Bear was my favorite program of this year, and I think I discovered it last year. Also, props to I always forget the actress's name, but the lady who plays Sid in The Bear is also the voice of April O'Neil in the new Turtles movies. So. Mm-hmm. Joe, you picked Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
I did. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I love the Scott Pilgrim movie. It's one of my all-time favorite films.
Good movie.
This was just dropped on us by surprise earlier in the year that there was going to be a Scott Pilgrim animation. So everyone was expecting a direct adaptation of the books as opposed to an adaptation of the comic. The movie, which was in itself different from the books. But nobody was prepared for how different it was going to be. Completely different as of the end of episode 1. And it's fantastic. The animation in it, the soundtrack's fantastic. They've got all the original actors back doing the voices. It's fantastic. If you're a big fan of Scott Pilgrim, I recommend it highly.
I'll say this one thing. See, we talked about earlier on about Dead Man's Shoes. And, I used to get Shane Meadows and Shane Black mixed up with him. This is Shane Meadows, is that right?
Edgar Wright.
No, this is Edgar Wright, isn't it? Who's Shane Meadows?
Yeah.
Shane
Meadows, the director of Dead Man's Shoes.
Yeah.
Who's Shane Black?
She
Next
the
guy
guy
is
killed.
Aye, he
Kiss, Kiss,
directed
Bang, Bang.
the last Predator movie.
Fair enough. These are
Kiss,
three
Kiss, Bang,
cans
Bang.
of 7% lager that I've had so far. So
all I know about Shane Black is he's one of the soldiers in Predator, and he's the director of Iron Man 3. I don't know anything else about him.
no problem. So this is
Yes.
something completely different. This isn't Shane Meadows or Shane Black. It's
No, this is Edgar Wright. Scott Pilgrim takes off. Written by the original writer of the comics as well. Brian Lee O'Malley.
Lee
Yeah.
O'Malley.
Yep. Highly
Is it-
recommended.
Is Edgar Wright involved in this? Sorry, did you say that?
Edgar Wright's producing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really smart. That's a really
Yep.
amazing move for his career as well, isn't it? Like, so, and then the voice cast is the same from the film. Is that right?
It's the exact same cast. Michael Cera's back as Scott Pilgrim. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's back as Ramona Flowers. You've got Jason Schwartzman. Yeah, everyone's back. It's
one of
just
the Culkin, Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin's back as Wallace Wells. Yep.
What's her face from Parks and
Larson.
Recreation?
Yep.
Aubrey Plaza.
Brie Larson's back. Aubrey Plaza. Everyone's back. Yeah.
That's well smart. I get
Highly recommended.
It's on my list. I've heard it's amazing. So, I mean, Stu, you put the bear as well. Is there anything I didn't say that you wanted to talk about? The bear.
Yeah, just more or less, just recapping like that episode where Richie does get sent to the high class restaurant to work for a week, and he finally kind of gets it, where he does kind of go from just the jack of all trades cousin that's been, just doing shit on the side, gets in trouble, carries a gun for no reason, and now it kind of clicks, and his character, like, his life is in shambles. He's like the dad that gets his kid on the weekend, and they're wanting Taylor Swift tickets, and they don't want him to be there, and the only thing he's kind of got is the camaraderie with his friends, and yeah, he can't be there bullshitting around. So when Carm sends him to this restaurant, he's just taking the piss out of everyone for the first couple of days. It's almost like over the course of like 7 days. And by the end of it, he doesn't want to leave. And just the way he comes back, and it just clicks. And it's just such like a rewarding episode to watch, because you're just like, you just love this character development. You want to see where it goes from there. But yeah, obviously you covered like a lot of it too. So I'll also throw out my honourable mention for the 4th and final season of Barry. That finished this year, and that was an absolute brilliant show. If you haven't seen it or you've started it, like, definitely now's the time to finish it.
But Bill Hader's absolutely brilliant in that, and everybody's basically absolutely brilliant.
What's it, Henry Winkler and
yeah,
and NoHo Hank. I don't know his real name, but oh my god,
the Russian guy that keeps trying to kill him.
Yeah, the guy with that's alopecia, and just his positive, upbeat attitudes, and yeah, just a terrific season finale to that story as well.
So many shows that came back this year. Like I know I've not seen Barry, but I know the folk that watch it totally adore it. But like it's kind of what Andrew was saying at the start as well. Like there's so many shows came back this year. Strange New Worlds came back, was incredible. I've just finished Lower Decks season 5, and that's been brilliant. Picard had a good season. Hellraisers came back last week, which was one of my sort of sleeper hits from a couple of years ago. Brassic had a good season. The Scots season 3 came out, which I didn't think was happening, and then all of a sudden it dropped an iPlayer. Just some amazing British comedy.
I've done the full season 1 of the Scots this week on your recommendation last weekend, and that's phenomenal, man. Donald McGregor,
it's so good.
Such a good show.
But yeah, for anyone that's not seen the Scots, it's the boys from Burniston doing like a sort of fly in the wall documentary, a bit like this. The Only Way Is Essex, but it's based on one family from like the outskirts of Glasgow, and it's just stupidly silly. And they've got a character played by Jack Jester, who's a professional wrestler in Glasgow. He plays like the boyfriend of the sister that they don't like, but they just keep coming up with like they call him Stunner McGregor, they call him Cock Lesnar.
Yeah, Dwayne the Cock Johnson.
Dwayne the Cock Johnson. It's just amazing. They just hate him. So yeah, because he's massive, all they can do is like make fly references to the fact he looks like a pro wrestler.
He's not very sharp, so they just mock him mercilessly. Yeah, good show.
Where are we? That's Kelly Anthony and Irvin Welsh's Crime with Dougray Scott was good. I know that was on BBC Scotland. I didn't watch that.
That was good. Dougray Scott, brilliant, playing the drug-riddled detective, and it was brilliant.
I need to watch that actually. Yeah, I do.
Is Irvin Welsh the drug-ridden detective in Filth? Is it the same?
I don't know if it's the same character. It's very similar.
No,
it's like a spin-off of one of the other series of books.
Yeah.
Can I do a few honorary mentions? I never got to do my comics.
Go for it.
I never got to
do your comics, mate.
I never got to do the comic book because I never sent in a picture.
Did you not send anything in?
These are my honorary mentions, right? So first of all, obviously the Bogeyman, right? Absolutely brilliant. We spoke about that. I don't know if you've been following my Substack recently, but I have got a small love recently for Batman and Robin.
Uh-huh.
I'm just loving Batman and Robin. I'm loving Robin right now. So if you follow my Substack recently, like Eli has called me Batman for months, and that's my kid, and he is Robin, and so I've been getting hundreds of Batman and Robin comics, and I've been loving them. But right, okay, so what I want to do, right? My favourite comic of this year. Hold on, Ambassadors as well to give a mention to by Mark Millar. Big Game as well. I want to give a mention to. By Mark Millar. I want to give a quick shout out to The United by Johnny Cannon, which is brilliant. A quick shout out to Masters by Reckless Hero, which is really good. However, as I quickly ran through all my books that I had read this year, the one that stuck out was Death Sentence.
Okay.
Whoa. Yeah. Class stuff. Death Sentence by Monty Nero. This is honestly one of the best books I've ever read. Now, I read it at the start of the year, so I can't really totally remember the total premise of it, but it's basically there is a disease, a sexually transmitted disease going through the whole of the Western world. And basically what it does is once you get this disease, you have 6 months of a superhuman power and then you die. And it's what the people do within that 6 months of having that superhuman power. And it is phenomenal. It's written by Monty Nero, who is, I think he lives in Fife, actually. I'm not too sure where he's from. He lives in Fife. And it's just one of the best books I've ever read. I've not picked up, there are 3 in total. I've not picked up the other 2 yet, but it is on my list to get, and I will do it. So anyway, that's my comic of the year, is Death Sentence. Yeah, I recommend it. Death Sentence London is the next series. And then the last one that came out was Death Sentence Liberty, which I've not read all of it yet, but very good.
Right. Amazing book. So anyway, I just wanted to get my comic book out there. I'm good.
Yeah.
After my 6.9 cans of beer.
The only other honourable mention was Ben said Race Across the World, which I'm a big fan of, so I wanted to shout out there. So that had a 3rd season this year that was kind of like celebrities. Say celebrities, it was like a girl from the All Saints, somebody, the drummer from McFly, and yeah, it was good. It's a good show. If anyone watches it, it's just like it's narrated by John Hannah, and it's just like a group of people get dropped off in like one part of the world and get asked to go to another part of the world, but the budget they're given is like what it would cost to fly from A to B, but they're not allowed to take it. They're allowed to go any other way they want, but they're not allowed to fly over. So they have to like do that. It's good fun. Like they have to like bus it and train it, but do the same journey. So it's a good looking program because they're always in like the hills of mountains of like Scandinavia or
I
Switzerland. Or something.
watched the first couple of seasons. I watched half of the third season where they were doing across Canada and
Yeah, it was super boring. Eh? Like I watched the Canada.
I didn't like the people in it. You've got to have a favourite, but in that show, it was just like a case of all the young people, all the old people seemed quite chill. And saying that, there was one of them where the dad was an obnoxious prick, and the kid wasn't bad, but it was a wee bit spoilt. And another one where the kid was absolutely obnoxious and horrible, but the dad was really nice. And yeah.
I stopped watching the Canada one and I started watching the celebrity one because I was like, oh, this will be quite good. But particularly the girl that used to be in All Saints, she's quite a nippy because she does that whole like I don't want any attention, but I want you to know who I am thing all the time. So she's like, yeah, and it's not a big deal, but I used to be in All Saints.
Cheating normal, but she's in the background singing Pure and Simple or something like that. Or
exactly. Yeah, that was us. I'm looking at the comments.
Did we? I'm not sure if it's just running short of time, but our events of the year.
Oh yeah, I did do a study. Let me see if I find it.
ECAF.
Right, but
so there was three things that came up in events, back from folk chatting. So the three of them were Lawless. So obviously, Colin, you were at Lawless, and Ben from the 77 also said Lawless was like the best event of the year, which was the British Comics event down in Brighton. Not Brighton, sorry, Bristol. Yeah.
Bristol.
We should do Lawless next year instead of Thought Bubble.
Aye.
Oh, you know what? I can't do Lawless because that's when my Dunfermline book's out that weekend. So I'm not going to. I was planning to go, but it clashes with that launch.
Maybe next year.
You guys go to Lawless. Enjoy yourselves.
I'm thinking the Lawless.
I'm going to go to Enniskillen next year instead, in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Oh, I've had that one more than Lawless, to be honest. I would like to go to Northern Ireland over Bristol.
Aye, I'd like to do that as well.
Really? Bristol's brilliant.
Bristol's nice, and Northern Ireland's full of Northern Irish.
Jesus. Oh, whoa. Okay. My mum's from Northern Ireland.
That makes sense.
Just go to Dublin.
Some people are not from Ireland.
No, Enniskillen. Is it actually at Enniskillen, or does
Yes.
Garth do that one?
Yeah, I think Garth Ennis often goes to that one. Yeah.
It was Garth Ennis is local for there, isn't he? So, and he doesn't do many conventions these days.
No.
I just really fancy Northern Ireland because I've never been. Yeah, so I heard Lawless was good this year. Obviously, everyone that goes to Lawless says it's amazing. It's Sue Hadrow that we've had on the show. She organises an amazing event. So it's great. You've been before, Colin. Quite small, isn't it? Like not in terms of
a couple of times now. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fairly small, but well attended. Loads of great creators. British comic creators mainly. 2000 AD. Fantastic, though. Go and have a pint with your favourite comic artist.
Sounds good to me.
Highly recommended.
And the other event that got mentioned was All Elite Wrestling's Wembley Stadium show in London.
I said if that counts, and mainly because me and you, Jeff, were there. We got to spend like an hour standing in the merch line, just taking it all in. And then there was like a 5-hour wrestling event after it, which was pretty amazing. But if that doesn't count, then decaf.
It counts. Of course it counts.
Yeah. I thought I was at Wembley as well, and I actually thought I was like I was going to go. Wembley was good. I was going to put that in there to be funny, but then you sent me it and was like Wembley. It's like
I was also saying it was one of my highlights of the year. It was also one of the worst points of the year for me as well. Like, as you know, me and my family were horribly ill, but looking back on it, fucking brilliant time.
It was that was one of my top highlights of that whole weekend was hanging out with you guys, like outside, just chilling. It was good.
Getting shouted out of a fucking co-op. Just about like almost wanting to like argue with security, and it's like, let my son pick a fucking sandwich. Stop shouting at us. Jesus Christ.
And it was my first event at Wembley, but they have that Wembley Way. It's called like the It's just basically a street between the train station and the stadium, and it's mental. But that was good. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed Thought Bubble this year, but I don't know if David found this, but I actually I didn't socialise as much this year as I did in previous years, and I don't know if we had a heavy traffic area or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I did coming up the road with Andrew felt like I didn't speak to as many people at Thought Bubble this year as I did last year.
I thought I spoke to more people this year than I did last year. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
The whole weekend, so yeah. Decaf was great. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Glasgow this year. I thought it was good fun. You know, the one we did in RB Corner and Glasgow Comic Con was good fun.
Well, the start of the year.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Actually, I forgot about that. Was that this year?
Yeah, it was the one in
Acme at the Opera House at the concert hall.
The Glasgow Con wasn't Acme; it was Glasgow Con.
Yeah,
that's different. Same guys. That was a great. I had a great time. That was good. That was a good event. Actually, I had a really good time then.
I've got to say, my favourite event this year was probably the one in Livingston that we did. Like, I had, like, in terms of just sort of chilled out, like, good atmosphere, good vibes, good folk. Like, it was like Decaf, but with a wee bit more space, actually.
I think events are changing. I think I don't know. I'm new to events, so I don't know. I think there's going to be it's going to be an interesting couple of years coming up with regards to the Comic Cons, big style events, and more niche small press events. I think it's changing. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm on the fence when it comes to events.
I would agree. I would agree. I think definitely there was. If I look back for the last couple of years, the guys that set up events, or the people that I know that are setting up events, are changing the way those events run. So they even those events feel different than they did when we were signing up for them at the start of the sort of that post-COVID time. Like, I remember sort of before lockdown, just before Thought Bubble, like between like lockdown ending and that first Thought Bubble, when we went into that first Thought Bubble, we still had to wear masks. And me and Colin did a BGCP event in Glasgow that was like really not very well attended, and everyone was still wearing masks, and it was just kind of like not very good. But then you look at BGCP events now, and they're all over the place. They're all over Scotland, and they always seem really, really successful. And then I think the first couple of Acmes we did were just the same. You know, that first Acme we did, we were all wearing masks, and now no one's wearing masks, and they're fucking massive. You know, they moved from hall 2 to hall 4, and it's just so. Yeah, I think events are changing, but they're changing quite fundamentally. It's the folk it's the organising people behind these events that are changing them. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I don't know what that means for us.
We'll wait and see.
Definitely. It's obviously changing for reasons, so we'll see. Skeleton free energy drinks. Obviously, that was my favourite thing about Glasgow Comic Con is we could just keep nipping outside and get a can of Rockstar off that guy. Any other honourable mentions for stuff before we give it a call it quits?
I am cool.
We've covered just about everything, I think.
Fairly, yeah. So we're going to take a month off. Like, tomorrow's December, so it's the 30th today. Tomorrow's December. We're going to take a month off. We'll be coming back in January with.
I've only just come back. You're taking a month off.
Yeah, sorry. Well, we've all been working fucking hard, man.
Rolling presenters, never more than 2 or 3 at a time. We'll keep it set for.
Talk about doing that. We're talking about maybe doing utilizing our YouTube channel a wee bit more, so that because I think what we've kind of found is this 2 hours is quite long, and that's probably why a lot of folk don't. You know, that's why I know Krana's like, I can't do 2 hours every Thursday. It's a big ask.
I know I'm bored already, so
exactly.
That's mine.
Exactly. So
the bladder's full.
I thought that's what the bucket was for.
No, it's not. It's not what it's for.
Miraculously, my can is full again.
But certainly, our Thursday coming back in the new year, Thursday will still be the podcast, but we will hopefully be breaking up the podcast bits of the podcast, so there'll be more focus on certain parts at different parts of the week as well. So it should be good fun. And so stay tuned, and if you want to be involved in that, get in touch as well. It's all exciting stuff. Thank you. It was so nice to have all 6 of us back in today. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, David, for joining us.
My pleasure, man. Loved it.
Everyone have an amazing Christmas. Thank you for this year. Hopefully 2024 will be bigger and better for us. Oh, it's our 5th anniversary in March. 5 years that this has been a podcast. So yeah.
Big event in March coming. Stay tuned.
Exactly. Cheers.
Woohoo! Glasgow GCAF in March. Yeah, March the 9th.
Yeah.